good to see you back as we gear up for Game 4. Thank you so much for sticking with us. It is going to be a long series because I think we're going to a Game 5. Like I said before, it switches back and forth. We had a bit of a very long first game. FlyQuest is able to find their footing in a super fast game. Same for Clutch, and I think we could get pushed to a Game 5 here. FlyQuest can just shake off that mental, get the cobwebs out, and come back strong. But having a lot of good play around the map.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they're going to be back on the blue side as well. So, you know, you can't see that same kind of strategy that Clutch was able to pull out on blue side. The last game around certainly has been kind of developing throughout the series, that blue side is being more highly prioritized.
Yep.
So I'm going to be interested to see what the adjustments are going to be for Clutch, right? You know, are they going to be looking to try to force again towards that Caitlyn? Are they going to be comfortable to go Zyra Rakan and make the bet that WildTurtle and Wadid will not be able to do to them what they did to FlyQuest? You know, there's a lot of questions to kind of be answered, I think, throughout the draft phase, which is making me pretty excited for it.
And we did hear from Invert. He said, you know, we had that month of practice. It wasn't like, yeah, we took time off and then figured the last few weeks we need to practice. They have kind of a month of things behind them to use. Now, whether we see that all today, whether they've already used it or not, I think is something special that they have. And if you start bringing out a few things here, you could throw Clutch off. But like I said before, it's always the simple factor of falling behind. So do you take that chance?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's got to be all cards on the table right now, right? You know,
I like that mentality.
This is the
I like that.
last game of the season here for FlyQuest potentially. So, you know, if you have any secret pick, if you have any secret strategy, there's no reason to hold it at this point. You have to just look at it one game at a time, try to win what is in front of you, forget about the next series after that. It doesn't matter if you show your hand now. You have to get there to be able to actually, you know, have a chance in moving forward. So, going to be interested to see if FlyQuest does have any other kind of spicy picks, because it would make a lot of sense. I mean, you've had a month time off to prepare. You know, you certainly didn't perform as well in the summer split. So, you know, maybe they have kind of spent some time in the lab, cooking up some picks. We got the Jinx in game 1. That worked pretty well for him. Karthus came out in game 3.
That Gnar coming out for Huni was actually, I believe, pick number 14, unique in the season. There's 11 for Aatrox, or for Viper. He's been playing Aatrox throughout this series, so really the versatility comes a lot from the top lane, but they've been loving him on that champion. Still a good, unique pick across the rest of the comps. Usually we see Pobelter as one of the big ones, but it's been Damonte this season at 15 unique. So he's definitely been spreading the champion pool. Like you said, if it's going to happen where something comes out, it is this final game.
Very
game
different
point for Clutch.
For FlyQuest. The Xayah and the Olaf, instead of Kiana or you know, taking away the GP or anything along those lines. So really interesting. The Olaf has yet to be picked, right? And they are actually prioritizing that as a first round ban. You know, perhaps kind of sniffing that out. It will be an instant lock on the Sejuani as Skarner is banned out. Lira, you know, will not have his kind of go-to pick there, but certainly does have the ability to go something like the Jarvan if he wants a little bit more playmaking. I always think Trundle is still a great answer into the Sejuani if they're more comfortable to be looking kind of for that team fight stage. Certainly are some good options. Tahm Kench would put them into kind of quite a defensive bottom lane, which I honestly don't love for Clutch because I always feel like their 2v2 is fairly strong. You know, they could maybe prioritize something a little bit more aggressive, but it will be Sylas getting locked in. That could very easily be Sylas jungle here for Lira. That was his 4th most played, but we have seen Sylas games in 3 roles here for Clutch, so it is a legitimate triple threat flex here coming from Clutch, which does make this next round of drafting a little bit more difficult for FlyQuest because you can't just say, yeah, for sure that's going mid, for sure that's going jungle, let's pick accordingly.
So Clutch does take that Sylas, something they haven't had yet. Kaisa goes back over to the side of FlyQuest along with the Rakan.
All right.
And decided to take him still. Wadid is really enjoying that champion to get in and out for the team to start these engages with the Sejuani.
Yeah, certainly the case. And when they went for the Tahm Kench, it kind of gave them the ability to do that, right? You know, had that been no bot laner locked in just yet, you can't actually go for that sort of a play because there is then the risk of the Caitlyn Morgana coming through. In this situation, certainly wasn't a threat. Ezreal, Tahm Kench says, I do not want to play at the bottom side of the map. They are going to focus on their solo lanes. They are going to look for counter picks and try to play heavily to that sort of a win condition. And we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. Also makes me feel like there's a higher chance that this could be a jungle Sylas coming through. But you know, if they want to get active early, they could put that in a solo lane and still go for something like J4.
Damonte only has a few more plays over Lira on that Sylas, but they both have a good handful, so we could see that, as you were saying.
Yeah.
second phase of bans, and the second one coming in from Clutch Gaming. There's the Azir. Probably not a Corki, but it'd be easy to take away. That's going to be the Corki. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they just want to move Pobelter, I think, off of comfort.
Yeah.
You know, he had been so much more comfortable, I think, you know, on those champions. He had been more that defensive style of player.
He did look
Sylas
much more
was
comfortable, you're right.
his last game, and Sylas certainly, you know, didn't work out. Now is taken away, so that is 3 picks that he has played now taken away. So he's going to kind of have to find an additional one here. Certainly has, you know, a deep enough pool. But, you know, in the regular season, he had been looking towards things like the Ryze, the Zoe, the Jace, which isn't really super in vogue right now in mid lane. So see if he feels comfortable to do it.
I do have that Irelia still up on this side. Could be a pretty crazy composition if you always want to get fighting in there. You have Sylas to dive in.
Yeah, definitely possible to grab that here. Good call out as it had been getting banned away quite a bit here from Damonte. He's one of his kind of preferred picks. Generally speaking, Huni is not the Irelia player here.
Yeah.
6 picks for Damonte, only 1 up to the top side for Huni. So we are certainly assuming that is going to be going to Damonte. And then would likely be jungle Sylas and a last pick here available for Huni. And it's so interesting because we have actually talked as, are we going to get it? All right.
Riven gets locked in.
Nice to see the Riven coming through here. I mean, like I said, cards on the table.
Cool.
Your back's against the wall here. It's a must win. He goes to the comfort pick here. The former Riven 1 trick certainly had some great games for FlyQuest on the Riven. And it's going to be up to him, you know, to be able to succeed against whatever Huni decides to kind of bring out here in this final game. And it's looking like it very likely will be Karma mid here for Pobelter. So that will be the pick, likely going into the Irelia. And we have to find out, did Huni actually practice Camille? Because this is played, you know, something that is kind of considered a fairly good matchup. Camille is very popular around the world. You know, there are scaling options such as the Jax and whatnot. If you want to just brawl early, the Aatrox makes a lot of sense. Shen, we did see actually come out once, I believe, from Impact in the finals.
Yep.
I'm not into this matchup, but Shen certainly a pretty good option here as well. And it will just be back to the Gnar. So this is, I think, a fairly safe option when you are going up against Viper's Riven as well as Sejuani here for Santorin. That is a pretty strong 2v2, so perhaps not feeling confident in their ability to brawl, and as a result, they will be kind of taking the back foot there. My concern already for this clutch composition, though, is your all physical damage. Yes, there is some AP from the Sylas, but jungle Sylas is not going to be the one to kill Santorin on his Sejuani and things like that. So, you know, you are potentially going to have some difficulty getting through things like Zonias, which can be built onto WildTurtle, Zonias, which could even be built potentially, you know, on this Karma later on. So things like Tabby's become extremely efficient, and that is a little bit of a concern against any sort of front line.
If he can get Ezreal to have a giant backpack and finally get a good income, he can get his loot ins, his Gunblade later, but later is kind of the key word there. It's so far gone in the game, it's an expensive build.
Yeah, and maybe he will go for that sort of hybrid style, and maybe it won't actually come into play whatsoever. But definitely a more kind of diverse damage profile coming out here from FlyQuest, and Clutch certainly very heavily physical. We'll see if they're going to be able to make it happen, though, in this potential final game of the series.
We'll see what the teams have. I know Huni and Damonte have always looked so determined after these games to reassure and let the fans know they understand what happened. The wins will come. They have worked so hard for this, and we see what it means to them to take the loss in that situation. Here now they're trying to find the win. Game point against FlyQuest for the first regional qualifier. Can FlyQuest keep themselves alive in this best-of-5 series? We'll find out right now.
Yeah, the winner of this will have to go on to play against CLG tomorrow.
Yeah.
Then the winner of that immediately then plays TSM the day after. So very little time for preparation, very little time for rest, as you say. Especially if you're going to a Game 5, that is tiring.
There's the pump up from the home crowd. They definitely want to be feeling it at this point. Mountain Drake is going to be first. Again, eye on the 10-minute mark as we get a little dance off in mid lane. Love to see it. We'll see how Clutch Gaming uses the Abyssal Voyage. A lot of times at the end of the split, we saw teams being very active with the movement, kind of controlling a play, going for an inhibitor, all the way back to Baron, all the way across map for an engage with the teleports. A little slow on the usage this game, or just in intention, they haven't been doing that as much. So see if they activate that a little more and pick up the Abyssal Void usage.
Yeah, definitely would be interesting to see if they want to prioritize those side lanes. I do think that when you're looking at a team composition like the Gnar and the Irelia, you're looking to play pretty heavily through side lanes. You know, you're looking to play, you know, that 1-3-1 sort of style with Ezreal kind of safely wave clearing in the mid lane, you know, alongside the Tahm Kench and the Sylas, who can then potentially join a side lane with that Abyssal Void like you're talking about. So that is definitely what they are looking for. And it looks like it's actually going to be the lane swap. So Pobelter will be the one to try to go up to this top lane. They want to opt out of this Riven versus Gnar matchup, which is going to be, you know, very difficult in the early levels, especially for that Riven, you know, in the melee versus ranged matchup. And they will be sending Riven mid lane to deal with this Irelia.
See, once
level 2 gank.
They pan out, we could get switched. Red buff not connecting just yet. Gets the slow off. Pobelter with the super fancy feat. Gonna have the minion wave to also dance through as he slaloms to safety against the level 2 Lira gank from Sylas.
Yeah, Lira missed everything. He didn't hit the Q, he didn't hit the E. You know, Pobelter, just really nice little jukes there. Constantly juking backwards, faking that little movement to be able to avoid both of those. If you get connected on by those abilities, you have to flash at the very least. Instead, it's just some wasted time there from Lira, and Santorin will be kind of happily chugging ahead of him in that jungle.
Very big play there, because it probably wouldn't happen if that was going to be a Riven top. So for Pobelter to actually dodge that one out really, really helps the team in this early game. Well played by him. They will continue the CS as he's waiting for Huni to push that in as we watch a bit of mid lane. Corrupting Potion for Damonte to do that early damage versus the Riven of Viper, as we see we've now switched them up on the screen so you can equal those out as you're looking at inventories and the champion list.
Now, the one thing that they did kind of get from that gank is, you know, both potions were actually used by Pobelter. He is going Biscuits, so we'll have some additional regen available, but you know, Huni was really trying to work him down. And when you actually watch the level 1 where he was kind of ignoring the minions and just auto-attacking, that makes much more sense now when you see that the level 2 gank came in.
Prep him.
He was trying to spend his HP, just trying to trade and whittle him down low for that potential gank that would come in. And, you know, as a result, it doesn't work. You know, he kind of trades some damage out himself and did take a tower shot, which costs his potion. It means he's going to have to go back to base.
Nice timing as well. Pobelter's about to get a push on the wave. Doesn't even have to use a ward to do it. So this feels really great for the first flow of his beginning of the game. And he'll get a safe back if he even wants it yet. And yeah, why not take it at that much CS already? Top lane, or top scuttle is going to be grabbed up by Santorin. He also got bottom as well, so that feels really nice to be flying around the jungle as Lira took a little time in that early top lane gank. Love on damage here. Beautiful job by both of them. Damonte saying, sure, fight me in a bunch of minions as I pull you back to my turret. And Viper knows the deal. He's always in that solo lane fight mode.
Yeah, Irelia really depends a lot on kind of the outplay, on dodging out on abilities and being really evasive. And, you know, if you're anywhere even in the vicinity of that Riven, you hit the W, that's a stun. You know, you can kind of chain that into your third Q as well. And Viper is such a confident Riven player that, you know, these trading patterns certainly can be difficult, but you see Damonte still, you know, kind of holding that CS advantage and is playing pretty comfortably in this mid lane.
Push in a quick sweep, and now he's kind of getting that information of what's been done by Lira. Of course, he was slow as Gromp respawned, so be able to steal that. But on the other side of the map, we also have it going down. So, oh, never mind. I'm like, yeah, he's stealing it. I mean, flies back onto his own side.
You know, he's like a full level behind off of that top lane play. Loses both scuttles, falls behind as far as the farming speed. So Lira certainly, you know, pretty behind there as Santorin will hit 5 on his next creep. So, you know, feeling quite good about that situation. You can see barely crested 4 there for Lira. You know, not the end of the world, but you know, there is definitely a cost to the sort of early game plays when you look for them. If they don't happen, it's so easy for these top level junglers to be able to simply punish you by out-farming.
It's like the earlier the mistake, the more it counts, right? And the more it can stick and become a very, very big issue. Later in the game, you have a bit of time to repair things. But it's really trying to find out where the jungler is, outpath him. Skirmisher Sabers for both of them right now, with a bit more HP on the side of Santorin if they do decide to meet. And Lira is pretty low on mana at this point, so he may not be showing himself too soon. Turtle teleports back to bot. Pretty even CS here as they start picking up some first items.
Yeah, but they should have a pretty good idea of where he is. You know, these nice little wards here dropped over by Santorin. So, you know, even the fact that you don't see he's kind of in this quadrant of the map allows you to have an idea that, all right, his Wraiths all respawned. He was up there on the top side. You know now he's going to be working his way down here as Huni is going to drop the ultimate for a nice little trade. I feel like, you know, thinking back, I actually don't think we saw a single ultimate from Gnar or a stolen Gnar ultimate.
Just at the end, when they hit him in the Nexus is about it. Yeah, you're right, though. That's what I was saying. Pobelter needs to steal the Gnar ultimate last game. Never happened. You are right, though. It was such a spread-out map, the way they were playing it. They really didn't need to get everybody in at once, and the split push was working out for them. Probably the same thing that's going to happen here if they don't turn into a giant death ball with this composition at some point.
Yeah, and I think they definitely want to have more of that spread-out fight. You know, fighting 5v5 as this team, you know, into this Sejuani, into this Riven, and you know, grouping up for the potential CC that could come through from their con could be dangerous as well. But that being said, if you can get ahead, well, then the math kind of changes.
Oh, nice arcane shift. Wadid down to 200 HP there as Vulcan just misses the lick. And still could get a few on there. Tahm Kench's lick passives wear off one at a time. They don't just fall off, so you want to keep that play going.
Yeah.
You keep trying to lick them.
That was actually really nice from Cody Sun, by the way. You know, on that engage, he did the arcane shift, which is, you know, pretty standard to be able to react. But he actually did a very small arcane shift so that he would be right in range to immediately be auto-attacking instead of actually pulling so far back. So, you know, he stayed in range to get the additional trade back on the exit there for Wadid, which I thought was actually very clever and quite well played.
Little extra calculations to make it look that much cleaner. Must have been a sale on those mana crystals. Ton picked up by Clutch here.
Synergy.
Yep, synergy back in the lane. They know they're going to need so much mana for the next fight. Turtle taking quite a bit of damage here as that brush control is grabbed over by Vulcan. They're starting to get pretty good on HP in that lane, so they can start to add a bit of an advantage. And now, 8.5 minutes in, Pobelter and Huni back and forth on the minion waves at 68 for Huni and 58 for Pobelter. So not too shabby for the Karma getting pushed around, as you would expect.
Yeah, definitely not too bad. You know, Karma, though, it does like to have that kind of early game presence because oftentimes Karma is building into kind of supportive items later on. So, you know, if you are not doing well in the early laning phase, things can be difficult. So that was pretty cute from Cody Sun. Hit the W, back up into the brush on a pink ward for the ultimate, knowing that they cannot actually spot that coming out. And these guys are getting so low. Turtle's going to have to go back to base very likely.
Especially with the Tahm Kench. You can just get devoured on the dive and you're good to go on the exit. So playing very careful behind the minion wave here. And a great pressure coming from this bot lane who said, yeah, we don't want help. We're Ezreal Tahm Kench. But at some point we are going to try to take over. And they have.
And there's also no TP available for WildTurtle. So this means likely, you know, going to lose this entire wave. And that is just extending that advantage that has been developed here by Cody Sun and Vulcan. Having a superior laning phase, certainly thus far.
Did they go top? It's the 40 seconds before Rift comes up, so they decide to not take plate number 4, and now they're heading towards mid lane. So again, it looks like at least Vulcan is going to be putting that pressure towards top.
They're calling the swap. They're essentially saying, we know you're going to go top, so we're just going to swap earlier to be up there for the answer. So, you know, FlyQuest has made adjustments to try to you know, deal with this sort of a play. Pobelter will be going down to the bottom side. Part of the problem is, though, Pobelter has no TP. So Clutch can have the extra man up here for this potential play.
Whoa, Vanguard's Ed goes down. Viper still has a chance to attack back. He throws down the wind slash from the Riven ultimate. It looks like this pressure, though, a little caught off guard. All of the bottom lane, WildTurtle and Wadid went top, so that mid pressure actually got Cody. A few members first. There's the Gnar ult coming out from Huni. Level 6 is here. That is a quick killer instinct over the wall. Turtle's going to get hit, but not die. And he's going to stay alive with about 110 HP.
Yeah, that was actually really clever there, though, from Turtle. You know, really calm play to hold on to the flash. So it is flash ultimate down for Huni. They will get the Rift Herald, but they were probably already going to get the Rift Herald because Pobelter was bot and had no TP. So Clutch, again, you know, navigate the map despite the fact that FlyQuest knows it's happening, they just seem to kind of handle their resources better. You know, having the TP last game on the AD, I believe it was, or maybe that was 2 games ago actually, but also having an additional TP this time around. They kind of know their limits as far as when they can look for these plays, and as a result, just consistently grabbing that up for themselves. But at least this time, there was a little bit of a reward back as Pobelter gets a plate, or maybe even 2 plates there, because I think that may have been a 5-plate turret previous to him going down.
Yeah, it's kind of that point where Karma can start ripping out the damage, and it hurts. Huni took an inner flame there, both first and second part, and he was like, okay, I'll wait behind the turret for the next one. Few plates towards this top side, going in favor of Clutch, and looks like, I thought that was RiftTurtle for a second. It was just the back, trolled by Sylas. And they'll wait for that one. RiftTurtle still in the hands of Lira on his Sylas, and they may actually, if they can get a lot of damage on top, they've been putting it mid in the side channels right when they get everybody back to that spot.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make some sort of a play. He has a couple minutes this time to actually set it up. And I mean, your ideal world really is you get a kill and then you drop it and you get a lot out of it. It's not always a possibility, but certainly would like to make it happen if he can. Otherwise, kind of the minimum is really just dropping it for the 2 plays in mid lane, which is usually pretty safe, pretty short lane. You can kind of just walk up and plop that down for a couple hundred gold.
Feels good. And they've gotten it each time, even pressured by FlyQuest on the previous times. We said maybe stalling it until it's used so it doesn't get used for plates is one way to mitigate the pressure that it gives. But I do credit Clutch for being able to have that on their marker and make the game work at 10 minutes for them to get it. Still hold their plates, most of them at least. Gold is pretty even here as we come up on 12.5 minutes in the game. A few buffs resetting, so junglers are going to pick those ones up. And we see now a bit of a roam team between Santorin and Wadid sticking together here as they're leaving Turtle to farm alone in the top side.
And this is something they've done previously as well, where they do kind of like to at times just funnel additional experience into Turtle, giving him more of that solo XP, gather the jungler up with that support. And they're going to drop that Rift top to try to funnel more gold into Cody Sun. We'll see if he's actually close enough to collect these plates. He is moving up very intelligently, so we'll be able to get all that gold, and that is 320 right into his pocket. No one else was in range, so that is not split with the jungler.
He's 300 gold short of 2,000 right now, too. So that turret goes down, and he's sitting on a big chunk of cash. The team is, for that matter. Ultimate goes through. Quick battle dance for health, HP save. And it looks like they won't give the pressure onto this. Not enough forward wards here, and possibility of Santorin on the other side. So Clutch trying to take control here of the way the lanes are moving, but FlyQuest is answering pretty well.
Yeah, definitely the case, as we can see more trading here down on that bottom side. And it's kind of been interesting to watch the evolution of Ezreal. It feels like now in pro play, the ult is all about poke, all about wave control. You're seeing players now when the Ezreal comes out, essentially just ulting on cooldown to try to chip people out, try to get out potions, try to send them back to base, thin out waves. It's much more about that and much less about trying to use it for finishing off a kill or kind of looking for that 100-0 type play.
Getting the last highlight snipe. It's so great. We saw a composition just the other week was the Caitlyn and the Lux. One of my favorite ones, because if you try to block acing the hole, both of you take a laser. It's great bottom lane synergy. Get that out of a few ultimates if you had a true shot barrage and you needed someone to block it. But not the case. But Cody Sun has been nailing him. Actually frozen Gauntlet to start this off too. Knowing he's dealing with a lot of speed, people can catch up to him. He's going to say, I'm creating a slow field so I can create distance.
Yeah, Riven is always just so frightening as an AD. You know that you have seen so many of those highlight plays. If Riven gets the flash on you and just 100-0 you with that physical damage. So Iceborne going to help to actually survive through that. So we'll see where he does go from here, as he's already got that really, really powerful early 2 items that Ezreal does love to get. And Huni, interestingly enough, has actually rushed the Frozen Mallet this game around. So not going for the CDR. This is more about that side lane play, being able to slow down Pobelter, kind of stay on top of him.
Love it.
And try to whittle him down in a side lane.
Really neat little adaptations coming out here that they can happen all the time. It's just the players choose to go with the items they know, the play they're going to get through the team play. But here, we see that Frozen Mallet beautifully coming out. Iceborne Gauntlet as well. Let's see if these little adaptations from Clutch Gaming allow them to get more of a lead in this game. Looking at about 2K gold lead here as we got to fight towards the bot side. There's a Gnar ultimate, and they are just able to crush down Pobelter right away. Tries to throw down that Inspire shield to keep himself up, but not enough, and that's his first death of the game.
Yeah, that's first blood, actually.
It is first blood. It's pretty late.
15 minutes in. First kill finally does come in there. And yeah, Pobelter had flash, but just decided that once he got locked up, I guess he thought, nope, I'm going down. There's no use in actually blowing that summoner. They do get the kill, which is likely going to mean Huni will probably get the turret here on the bottom side as well. So, additional reward going to be available for them. And again, Clutch feels like they are ahead, in the turret pressure, right? This is 2 turrets to 0 again. Last game, they were very heavily ahead in that regard. At least FlyQuest has grabbed some dragons, kind of battle back a little bit in that neutral fight here.
Let's see this one more time. Our latest first blood this split.
Oh, wow.
Coming in here onto Pobelter.
Yeah, just a really nice CC chain. Flash ulti into that wall up, and then the abscond abduct following that up. Yeah. No real room in that CC chain. Pobelter maybe could have flashed right out, but it's like,
oh, that's the thick wall.
You often well, and you often just die as you're flashing, right? So I think it's probably intelligent in that spot to just hold on to it. But I'm going to be interested to see where Pobelter actually goes with his build from here, because very often we have been seeing this become an Athenes or an Ardent or things along those lines. But when you build that sort of style and you're stuck in a side lane against the Gnar,
you're helping.
Yeah, exactly. You're not really helping anyone. Yeah. So that is kind of the conundrum there. Karma really does want to bully the early lane, then build these support items to group up.
Oh boy, fights on all fronts here. I like it. They had Lira in a quarrel with Pobelter, so topside Raptor fight coming out. Again, Cody Sun on cooldown, ripping out the True Shot Barrage, and he'll get that CD back on Mystic Shots.
Yeah, and Pobelter did at least force out the flash from Lira. Vulcan had to flash out there as well, so FlyQuest does go positive in summoners and will get a little bit of pressure. But again, who's answering who, right? No one's even actually heading down here on this side of the map. Now it's getting pinged out. You can see Pobelter making his way down from the mid lane, but this pressure is going to be there, kind of like omnipresent, just non-stop pushing him in.
And Huni can maximize it too. He has wards all the way down to the bot. Now he's going to teleport top because he feels like the dive is coming in, and they do kind of have enough room to teleport back, waste or lose that pressure on bot lane and start it somewhere else.
That was pretty slick though from FlyQuest. Just threatening that dive. Viper goes forward, doesn't really commit to it, doesn't even blow the ultimate, then just backs out as soon as that TP comes in. So now it is kind of the shoe on the other foot as someone will have to answer Pobelter down in that bottom lane, as Huni is not there and no one is really in the area. So we could actually see FlyQuest get their first turret in the bottom lane off of this, and I think they may be able to do it. It's very low.
Pings towards the top. They're wondering, we don't have much vision up here. They could be coming down towards river, but Vulcan has them covered on that side. Cleanse for him on his unsealed spellbook right now. Remember, that could come up big for the objectives later in the game. And now we're starting to get spread out to see how these lanes might continue to play out. Viper versus Damonte now towards the top side. We'll keep Gnar in the bottom. Huni versus Pobelter as it goes. He's going mid though.
Yeah, just looking to try to push out and then group up to try to shove up for this tower. This is clearly the clutch game plan, is they want to pressure towers. And this is the last outer remaining, so Huni will push out a wave, he will group, and they will try to use Ezreal poke to make FlyQuest back off and give them access to those towers. And the dragon is also up here as well, so it's another thing to fight for. Damonte's up on the line. That was a great True Shot Barrage.
Full 5-man hit there on the side of FlyQuest, and they have to turn away. This is going to be a Cloud Drake going over to Clutch. Damonte's just on the bottom side. If they win this fight, they possibly also get mid lane, but they could also just get it if they trend that way, get the global gold, get the dragon, and move out with the advantage. Here it looks like the waves are thinning a bit, but they do ping for mid.
Yeah, very interesting call to actually make that teleport play. I feel like after they landed that poke, you could just keep Damonte top lane.
Enjoy that advantage.
Exactly. Pressure the tower. You don't need to necessarily extend for more. Yeah. Get that farm, take the dragon that you had already earned off of that all that additional poke. Instead, they try to go for that big fight. He does trade his teleport essentially and ult for the flash of WildTurtle, which is nice. Yeah. But there's no guaranteed cash in on that, whereas turret damage is always going to be very valuable.
Get it, Huni. He's just having the time of his life in the river, running around getting scuttles. 0-0-1 for him. Goes to the Merc Treads next up. Kind of a late call, but it seems like he's already stacked that one up.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. as he knows he's going to be in the side lanes and it's going a bit longer. Why not get a little bit more resources for yourself in the process?
Yeah, he's already stacked that one up, had it for a while, so
Yep.
cashed in on the 100 CS and going to be feeling pretty good about that additional gold in his pocket as a result. Back down here to this bottom lane. Game plan will remain the same. Cody Sun looking to stop that
Balls of steel in this kid.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the Tahm Kench behind him. He's feeling confident that they cannot actually take him down. And, you know, in this position certainly was right. But it's been a very kind of slow back and forth here between these two teams. Clutch certainly feels like they're pretty heavily in the advantage. 5,000 gold ahead now is a huge deal. But that being said, FlyQuest certainly do have, you know, a pretty powerful team fight and are going to have their opportunities. We know that there can be some incredible highlight plays coming out of Viper on this Riven, and he likely will have to be one of the guys doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this sort of a composition.
Remember, whoever takes this series has a long road ahead of them in defeating CLG and TSM, but right now it's all about game point here for Clutch. FlyQuest backs against the wall as they attempt a slight engage, thwarted by Clutch as they step off slowly on that, and Glacial Prison will be down.
Yeah, Vulcan able to actually just tank that and then cleanse it out. He was so good, you'll remember in the earlier Braum game, at absorbing all of those Sejuani ultimates, so his positioning has been incredible in this series. Cody Sun still had to flash though. Was actually nervous about being flashed on by Viper, who was approaching, so he did decide to early flash. It has been FlyQuest really, it feels like, getting the better of the summoner trades, but they never feel like they're able to actually capitalize. Now they're going in on Cody Sun.
He gets flattened back. Well, can he live from this one? A great hit coming in from Wadid. They did not stop until they got their target, even with the help from Vulcan there. Exhaust even went down. Damonte's pushing down now towards that top lane.
And this could be Baron. They could actually try to go towards this. 22 minutes in, pretty early, so Baron will be dealing some damage here, but they are going to look to try to take this. They know they have been on the back foot this whole game, and they are trying to make that pick count.
This has to happen for FlyQuest, or it's going to be much more difficult. Remember, it's go for broke for them, as this could be the final game of their split. They're still looking for a fight on this one, but they're also looking to get in a better position before they find it. Lira could go down. He's devoured by Vulcan, and that's going to keep them alive, as Huni is now in the middle of three. Damonte Zanyas, could he stay alive? Could he go down? And he does go down. That's going to be a big pickup there for WildTurtle, as Clutch is now looking for the stragglers. There's a lot of low HP. Huni's almost in range. He hits him with the clock house, and Santorin will still make it out alive, but it's up to WildTurtle now to make a great escape. Huni's gonna slow him. Plasma Burst almost coming out. True Shot Barrage coming through the shield. Oh my god, Wadid with the grand entrance to Battle Dance back to save his teammates but keep the fight going. Lira now gonna be the one to go down. Vision's there. Lira goes in. He almost gets the Kingslayer kill, but he goes down to the hands of WildTurtle. Now they're onto the rest of Clutch, and what a chaotic fight, but it comes up in the favor of FlyQuest.
Oh my god, the 2 for 0 for FlyQuest. That was one of the longest fights I've seen in a while. Feeling like it started when Cody Sun died, and he's back there by the end of it. So here it is one more time. Clutch did a really good job of actually kiting out the initial engage. You know, Huni backing off here with the Stolen Sejuani ult, slowing things down. The poke comes through, and they decide to look for the turn. But Pobelter flashes the initial engage, and despite the fact that the Irelia ultimate went across so many members, he couldn't actually dive in to follow up. So it is Huni by himself in that backline trying to 1v2. The Irelia does fall down, but they say, hey, we can actually continue the chase.
Cody Sun's still coming back.
Yeah, Cody Sun is now spawned. He's running back. You know you have the Frozen Mallet and Huni, so they felt like they could look to try to chase this one out. But look at that passive proc, brings Huni to almost no health. Then the ult over the wall from Sejuani gets him even closer to death. Now we're back to live, and Cody Sun is getting engaged on again.
That almost looked like a straight replay from the kill before. We go right back into it. Lira, huge damage as he comes in. Proto Belt down, and he is going to be able to take down Pobelter. Snap Judgment from Clutch coming right back out and engaging back on FlyQuest's first engage.
Yeah, those picks were pretty big for FlyQuest, but now trying to look for it here on Cody Sun again. They knew his flash was still down, but it didn't actually work out for them this time, as the skill shots were on point. The Devour was there. You see the stolen Karma ult, the Monster Q hitting Pobelter, all of the Mystic shots from Cody Sun hitting him as well. And that put them in the position to make that a 1-4-0. They are going to take the Dragon off the back of this as well. They're going to take the red buff, so Clutch coming up with a lot of little wins on the back of that failed FlyQuest play.
See it one more time. FlyQuest feeling good. They just came off of that Baron fight. Let's go again. But it's not ending in the same result.
No, it definitely isn't. So what prompted that is the Arcane Shift being used. But Vulcan pre-devours him before they both get CC'd, which is exactly what you want to do. And then every Q coming through from Cody Sun was hitting Pobelter, and the Mantra
Inner Flame was pretty sick.
Yeah. Woo! Just absolutely lit up Pobelter.
Everything is happening from both teams right now. They're really playing to their top notch and trying to make that game end for the side of Clutch and keep it alive for the side of FlyQuest.
Also worth noting, Pobelter is going more for that pure AP build. You know, he has continued towards double spell pen. He's looking to build a Morelos. And Huni going a very non-standard build here on the Gnar. You know, this is a no CDR build that he actually is going for right now. He has picked up the Sterix. So this is a tremendous amount of health and tankiness. And it is going to be setting himself up pretty well to frontline in these team fights, while still being fairly effective in the side lane against Pobelter potentially here, you know, with that Frozen Mallet for any punish that you could put on an overextension from Pobelter.
Now you need a crazy Huni item in there. What would it be? He just puts Blade of the
Rapid
Rune King
Fire.
out of Rapid Fire. Blade of the Rune King out of nowhere. Let's go.
Rage Blade.
Rage Blade. Let's
That used to be that was the old Huni build, and he used to go like PD, Rage Blade, all kinds of stuff on Gnar. So I wouldn't put it past him. If he wants to go for the split push, he can go for a full damage item build.
We'll know exactly what he buys next. He has 1,500 gold, so when he goes back, we'll have that recipe item. And we'll get an idea. Santorin, Arctic Assault forward.
Lira steals it.
He did. Quite a bit of damage delivered back, but not a full engage. You can see Cody Sun being able to deliver quite a bit, but he also takes a hit there from the Void Seeker, and that hurts.
Yeah, and Cody Sun uses QSS on that ultimate as well. So he still has the Tahm Kench behind him, but you can see he made the pit stop after that third item, Blade of the Rune King. You know, did grab his QSS, which is going to be on cooldown. You know, Turtle on the other side, sitting on 3 completed items there. He is going kind of this AP build. You know, I talked about how Clutch is very heavily physical. On the other side, you know, Turtle is going this more AP style build to kind of help circumvent that, right? You know, you have some AP Rage Blade. He has the Nashers here. Would not be surprised to see something like a Deathcap Zonia's last type items, similar to what we saw from Cody Sun earlier, where you have the really powerful poke and more magic damage coming through.
Those half-health chunks coming out. What he's doing right now. I'm not even going to try to do that math. It's quite a bit. But his W's doing a lot of damage.
Doing a big number.
Yeah, big number. 3-0, that's what's going to happen when you're throwing bags of money at people. It sting a little bit. Press the attack on that Kaisa, so as long as he keeps it going, the rest of the team is going to be able to get in there and do good damage too. So Vision Ward's being pushed up now. Clutch has good control of the river, but when we see their wins, usually they're able to encroach that vision much farther into the side of FlyQuest. So slow at the moment, but they still have that idea in mind to move forward. We're at 30 minutes into the game, and this is about when we should see Clutch start to turn on and look for the end.
Yeah, FlyQuest kind of has this line right here of defensive vision, where they're going to try to use this to springboard forward into checking the river. They don't have vision right on the Baron, but this gives them kind of this safety net where they're like, all right, well, we know this much is safe, so you can move here, then send the Sejuani in first to try to poke in towards that river. And that is an important thing to have, as Clutch has been kind of controlling the mid lane. And this is why we see everyone from FlyQuest go to mid lane, shove this up. Once mid lane gets pushed up, they are going straight towards that Baron, but at the same time, you can see the side lanes are being shoved in here by Clutch. So Clutch is playing heavily to this 1-3-1, and FlyQuest either has to try to match that split push or try to engage elsewhere. But that is very difficult when it's Ezreal, Tahm Kench you're trying to engage onto.
Just cleaning up waves from lane to lane right now. Viper by himself on the bot side of the map. Probably won't be touched for too long. Doesn't even have too much vision to do so. This is kind of a drastic and fast push out by them, and he needs to get back to base. Pings from Huni here. Throws down a ward, and if he wants to fight, he'll probably play, but it's going to be a quick ward clear, or minion clear, sorry.
Yeah, and he did go towards the stone plate, so much more of the team fight frontline style. He knows he is really the only
Infinity
true
Edge next then.
yeah. Stone plate into Infinity Edge. Very standard stuff. Definitely could expect that. But you know, this is him knowing that he has to be able to soak that damage. He has to be the true front line.
Right.
Kaisa is going to get to the point where you're certainly going to be dealing a lot of damage. This is a lot of health. The Sterix shield, in addition to, you know, you jump in, you Mega Gnar, you use your initial round of combo, and then you actually drop the stone plate for that damage reduction. But they are looking like they could try to push out FlyQuest here. They would love to grab themselves a Snow Dragon.
Focus, resolve, locking Huni down for a quick moment. There's a Void Seeker hitting Lira, so doing a good bit of damage, but not as much as we saw before with those AP items in. Quickness comes down. A lot of damage onto Lira to start things off. Damonte's gonna get himself into the fight towards the back line as Wadid goes down first. Santorin and Turtle trying to take down Damonte as now he's resurrecting. They gotta figure out what target is the priority, and do they have time? They're about to lose another one, but Viper stays alive, and that's him coming back up. Clutch spent so much time on the resurrecting champion. On the side of FlyQuest, it was Viper, and now they're still in this fight and feel like they're on the forefront. Turtle forward, but he has no mana to deliver the damage here, and he's not throwing in the auto attack
to
deliver that DPS. Lira's back and forth. Just about 1,000 combined health or more on the side of Clutch here as they get themselves back into the fight. We're looking at Huni, he's got quite a bit, but everybody is limping away from this, trying to stop the backs as Cody Sun is again a very back and forth fight, finding one result on either side.
Yeah, so many low health bars there and really slim margins that could have changed that fight a lot. Damonte looked like he actually missed his stun, so, you know, if you track on this teleport, I believe Damonte misses his stun and then fails his reset on the Q, so that really did change quite a lot. Huni disengaging here, they know they have the deep ward. As soon as Lira comes over, you'll notice they donated the blue buff to Cody to try to keep him going for the poke in this fight, and then the TP comes in. He wants to go on to WildTurtle, so you drop one part of the E, you wait till the stealth comes out, then you drop the other part. The ult does not hit. The E does not hit either, but he does Q onto him, so he did not actually get a reset, but in the
FlyQuest get Baron. Huni could be getting out of this one. Focus resolve on him to lock him down. True Shot Barrage is not going to hit too much, but go over the shoulder of FlyQuest. Clutch one in on this one. Here comes FlyQuest from the side, swooping in to take down the members of Clutch Gaming, and they fall one by one. Turtle comes up with a kill right there, but it looks like Damonte's able to actually attack back. And what I thought was FlyQuest taking that dive into the fight. They fall apart mid-air, and Clutch takes that win for themselves.
This might be the game. The minion wave is there right in the mid lane. I don't know if they're going to have enough time, but 40 seconds on Viper, 40 seconds on Pobelter. I think they can end this, Riv.
This is absolutely huge. Clutch, backs against the wall coming into a bit of this series, but a lot of people had them as the favorite, and they did find that ground. They found the momentum with fans behind them, and the hope that this could go all the way to Worlds. Clutch Gaming in 4 games is going to look to find their first regional qualifier victory, and they're going to be doing it against FlyQuest and go on to face Counter Logic Gaming.
A clean finish there for Clutch. A decisive win around that Baron. FlyQuest took the Baron, could have retreated, but felt that they had what it would take to turn around that fight, to go back in for the re-engage, and they just got wiped.
Honestly, Ezreal, seeing that fight the way it was flanked, you had to think FlyQuest was coming out on top, but everything was assessed perfectly there. Vulcan was the one to go down because he grabbed the priority member, spit him back out, and that fight was all in favor of Clutch. It seems like smiles on their face, these new jerseys, and a little bit of coaching staff change has really put this team in a different spot here.
Yeah, it certainly has, and a lot of credit also deserved by Lira in that final fight.
For sure.
Well-timed Zonias to actually survive and buy so much time for the team, and you know, those little things can make such a big difference, because when you have Tahm Kench on your team and you get the Zonias off at 10%, they have to wait for that to end, then you come out of the Zonias, they still want to try to focus you down, you get eaten up by Tahm Kench, and it's just wasting so much of their opponent's time, where Cody Sun and Huni are going rampant throughout the fight, and they are going to be able to clean this one up. Certainly a strong last couple of games there from Clutch, but a very hotly contested early part of the series.
Absolutely. FlyQuest came out swinging. To think this was a team that placed well in that split, had some trouble in summer, and even themselves thought that this wasn't going to be something they would really be playing in. But due to the way the championship points worked, you're now trying to fight for that 3rd spot, which is definitely a bit, I think, of a kind of a back and forth mentality. When you're going through the season, it doesn't feel good to not win, but then saying, oh, wait, but we have a chance. That's a very big mentality switch, and not saying they can't do it. It's just a lot of work to put on anybody to say, oh, by the way, we actually have to really gun for the end of this still because we have a chance, and that's really, really tough.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I mean, they made Clutch work for it in game number 1, back
Absolutely.
and forth, 55-minute game. They dominated game number 2, but Clutch, you know, really did pick it up. Played incredibly well in the last 2 games. A lot of credit also to Cody Sun and Vulcan. Their 2v2s in the last 2 games were really heavily in their favor. And it did feel like we saw FlyQuest run out of gas a little bit as they were kind of just being controlled around the map. It felt like they needed to force something. You know, they really wanted to get more when they got a pick or when they got any sort of advantage, and Clutch was there ready to punish.
And as weird as it sounds, I think going through a series with some viewable problems is good. A win always feels great, but be able to know we need to work on this. Definitely this or this is going to be great for Clutch moving forward. They're not going to have much time. That next game comes up tomorrow. Yeah. And then if they win against CLG, it's against TSM. So going to be a lot of chatting tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, not that much time to actually strategize.
For sure.
You wonder, how much preparation was put into this series versus the one tomorrow.
And now your opponent gets to look at you.
Yeah. They get to see that the Gnar, I think, is a really important pick that CLG will now be aware of. Karma top was kind of that pick that slotted in the same spot. Huni now bringing out the Gnar did look good for them. CLG, we'll see what they have prepared for us tomorrow.
Tough stuff. For more on how Clutch won round 1 of the regional qualifiers, let's hand it over to Dash and the analysts.
Thank you very much, Riv. 1 series down, 2 more to go for Clutch Gaming if they want to be that 3rd seed to represent North America at the World Championship. And they did it here in 3-1 fashion. So while their last 2 series went the full 5 games, they're able to get it done a little bit quicker this time around and with the victory. Let's talk about how they did it.
I mean, it was definitely a closer series than I think most people expected coming into it. FlyQuest looked a lot better, and it didn't feel like Clutch was just going out there and messing up a bunch of plays and playing sloppily, and that's why the series were close. I think FlyQuest actually had a pretty good showing, all things considered, but Clutch was too well practiced at the things they wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good effort by them, considering that you had not a lot of good practice opponents. You didn't have a lot of time to really get in there week after week to figure out what you were doing was good or not.
Yep.
It was better than what they've been doing all summer long, and Clutch Gaming at least developed some new strategies as well as a response to what FlyQuest did. So it's not like they just walked in and took the win. FlyQuest did make them fight for it.
All right, a nod to FlyQuest then, as they definitely shored up some of their weaknesses shown in the regular season of Summer Split to put up a fight here against Clutch Gaming. But I do want to dive into this 4th and final game and figure out how exactly it was that Clutch came away with the victory. Once again, we had Huni going up onto the Gnar in the top lane. So now that pick showing a little bit of priority there for Clutch in terms of what comes after the GPs or the Karmas aren't allowed up there anymore.
You're kind of not getting a straight answer because it was confusing. You watched it, and we saw a fight of Dragon that was very close, back and forth. Okay, one team could take it, another one could, and suddenly FlyQuest sneaks Baron and loses the game. You have never seen a worse Baron power play ever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but
lost straight L after.
It's hard to have a worse one. Yeah, less so in gold, but more so in game result. Yeah, to immediately follow. But let's track Huni. Or rather, Clutch through those couple plays, because as you said, it was set up by a 1 fight for FlyQuest around the Dragon first, that's then curtailed into a Baron attempt, and then even a weird choice to fight afterwards.
Let's see. This is the first one. I think you had some choice.
Yeah, you're right. This is the earlier Baron in the game.
Damonte, where Clutch could have won.
This was a really close fight where just barely Lira misses his chains, and then Damonte can't get in because Viper does a good job zoning him out. And now Huni finally gets his transform, but all of the setup tools had come up short, and so he's kind of standing in the middle trying to figure out which direction he should flash, walking both ways. Doesn't actually do anything this fight, doesn't flash, doesn't ult, and they just kind of get kited out. And so you could see that FlyQuest is playing these pretty well. The fact Viper was able to interrupt the engage by playing that really well, find some kills, and get out of there. But it didn't actually net them any objectives, and this is a fight that's coming, when they were already down 5,000 gold, so they really needed to win this one a little bit harder.
I mean, those are the kinds of fights that you're really just fighting on so many different fronts. Everyone's calling out a different target, right? So Huni saying, I'm going on this guy, Riven's on the other guy, and so you just have no idea what's going on. So that's when you have to rely on your individual skills, and hopefully everybody's on the same page. But for a team that's been at the bottom of the barrel for summer, it's probably not going to happen. And Clutch Gaming, even though they are in playoffs, they are here, they've done so much, they're still a new team in this level of gameplay.
Now, I had jumped the gun. We will now roll to the final Baron fight, the one that loses FlyQuest the game. But again, this was set up by a 1 fight near Dragon. That's why they feel they have permission to start up this Baron. They will secure it, and then this is the aftermath.
You didn't need to engage, right? You could have just left.
Walk out.
You could have just taken the Baron and gone away. But instead, they try to save Santorin, who was already making a beeline out. So much indecision out of the FlyQuest lineup.
Viper almost found it in the backline, but Cody Sun, very handily dodged it.
Why fight? There's 3. You didn't even take a single turret. That was such a giant Baron power play that they could have had, just splitting up, taking at least 3 towers, it's WildTurtle said it best at the start of the day. They still don't know how to win.
Oof, calling out the video interview with WildTurtle. Yeah, I mean, they definitely, look, that's the kind of play that we've seen made by a number of pro teams, though. I mean, you could even argue that. Yeah, well, you could even argue. Look at the Rift Herald, play made by Clutch in the earlier games, where they're the ones who make the turn, thinking that they have found the right fight. And to Viper's credit, if he finds that knock up onto Cody Sun in the backline, maybe the fight goes completely differently. So they saw it in that split-second decision-making. Unfortunately, it didn't net them the advantages they want. Clutch will be able to roll to a win from there. And now the real question is, this is the position or the point in the gauntlet that everybody was waiting for, right? Clutch versus CLG. So we turn our attention now to the rematch from, the summer third-place match in which CLG got the better of Clutch Gaming. And we ask ourselves, is Clutch better suited this time around?
Yeah, I think you look at this series, and it's something I think a lot of people who are Clutch detractors will be very quick to point, like, this was a much closer series than it should have been.
Yep.
Game 1 went on forever. Game 3 was a stomp. Game 4, they easily could have lost if they did what, Crumb said about FlyQuest just backing off and grabbing all the gold that was still sitting on the map for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you could spin it in a negative light, but I also think FlyQuest looked better than people were expecting, so
Yes.
I don't hold it too much against them.
We'll dive back into this, the matchup that comes just tomorrow. But when it came to keeping the dream of Worlds alive, one player in particular exceeded on stage today, which is why we're giving Cody Sun Player of the Series.
Woohoo! And this was one of the first plays that we had in Game 1 where his Kai'Sa was really diving the backline, giving it to WildTurtle, letting him know that he does not stand a chance in this match.
Yeah, really aggressive play on that game, as well as his Caitlyn game that came later. And that was one of the comps that they built around him, making sure the Karma was in the mid lane to protect him for these siege comps. He did a really good job in that game as well for getting gold for his team. And then finally in Game 4, he was on the try not to die duty because everyone else on your team is going in but the support.
Yeah.
So he was on the Ezreal just trying to stay alive, and for the most part did a good job. I think died once in that game.
So there you have it, picking up Player of the Series here in the first of what will have to be 3 big series for Clutch Gaming in order to head to Worlds as our 3rd seed. For more on that win, though, let's send it over to Avli, who's ready to chat with the Clutch bot lane.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Cody Sun and Vulcan. Congratulations on the win over FlyQuest and moving on into tomorrow. First question for you, Cody. What were your expectations coming into today, since you and Clutch were fresh off of Detroit and there was little to no information about FlyQuest coming into this weekend?
So since FlyQuest had the whole time practicing, and we really didn't have much info on them since they didn't play for so long. For us, we were just mostly focused on ourselves and executing the strategies that we have in mind. So I feel like if we don't really make too big of a mistakes, then we're just gonna easily execute our strategy and it'll be good.
And Vulcan, I understand that you and Santorin are having a race to ranked 1 right now. So does taking this win give you any brownie points towards that?
I assume so, I guess. Now that I'm proving that I'm a better player directly jungle to support, I guess. Yeah, I mean, he's like 200 LP over me, and it's kind of hard to make it at that point, but yeah, we'll see.
But then I guess for you, same thing, what were your expectations for this series? Because a lot of people were either expecting the quick 3-0 from Clutch Gaming, or who knows, and we got that first game of 55 minutes longest in the split. So for you?
We were definitely expecting a 3-0 or either a 3-1. Coming into the first game, they played a weird draft, I guess. We didn't expect long-range carries. We thought they would play more early game focus. I think that's kind of the meta is right now. And then that was the game 1 banger, and then game 2 they played a similar style with Corki. And we decided to pivot away from that and just play our style, play early game. And I think it worked very well for the remaining game 3 and game 4.
Cody, you picked up another Player of the Series title, as we just heard, and you've had a phenomenal performance throughout all of playoffs. So I just want to ask you, what do you think about your general growth just throughout playoffs, because you're getting all of these best of 5s and all these practices and getting these high tension matches under your belt?
I feel like when I first joined the team, we didn't really have much structure or order on how we want to run things. And since I came from 100 Thieves and even Immortals, we were very macro focused. So I tried to bring the calm vibes to the team and make sure that we know if it comes to late game, then I got the game and don't worry about it. So I think once we got the macro stuff really down, then we were able to showcase our individual performances throughout the later of the stages of the split and the playoffs.
Yeah, well, the biggest stage that you guys played on was in Detroit. So I just want to ask Vulcan, we could start with you. What did you really learn from Detroit in the third place match?
I learned that I want to be in more games like that, like Ice Take on this stage like that. Just with the whole crowd, like every time you make a big play, you can hear them through your headset. And it's just like extremely hype. I had like a really good game in game 2, and it felt really, really good to like show like everyone there that what I can do, I guess. So
Show them all that you're the best in a huge arena and just be like, look at me, look at me.
exactly, yeah.
Perfect. Cody, what about you?
Yeah, for me personally, when I played on those type of stages, like my first year, I was like a rookie and I had no idea how to really play on that type of stage, and it was still really fun, obviously. And I think now, when I do play on like such a big stage with a big crowd, then I'm still confident that I'm able to like play the same as I do in like the LCS studio.
Well, your opponent there was CLG, and it was a very close series, but they ended up taking it just by that bit. And now, if you guys want chances to go to Worlds, you got to beat them again tomorrow. So how are you going to pull off the revenge victory?
Yeah, I told my team that like when we lost to CLG, we didn't lose because they did anything special. They were kind of just playing a late game style scaling picks. And I said that like if we don't mental boom, it's just going to be a free win. So I think we learned what would happen in a best of 5 series if we're up 2-0 and then we're cocky and then we lose a game and then we mental boom. So yeah, just hoping that I'm pretty sure the same thing won't happen, and we're just gonna play our game and then hope for the best.
I like that. Well, Vulcan, you just said that playing on the big stage, playing in an arena and showing off your skills to everyone was exciting for you. So for you to have this opportunity to make it all the way to Worlds and play in front of an international audience, what would that mean to you?
It would mean like a lot of experience going into like the future seasons for me. Just playing around or against like teams like RNG, where everyone's saying like Uzi has insane pressure. This guy's crazy. I'd like to experience playing versus him, and just like kind of absorb the play style and the way people play, because everyone's saying like NA is not that good, and playing against really good teams would be like a big plus for me personally.
So am I hearing that you two are gonna take Uzi down if you make it to Worlds?
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you and congratulations once again, and wishing you the best of luck moving into tomorrow. That's it for us here on the couch. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. Yes! Take down Uzi on the world stage. That's what I want to hear. With day 1 in the books, let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket. As we mentioned, Clutch Gaming will move on into that rematch against Counter Logic Gaming tomorrow, the winner of which will face TSM for our 3rd and final best of 5 this weekend on Sunday to determine who will be the 3rd representative for North America at the World Championship. Clutch wants it to be them. Let's talk first about this rematch here against Counter Logic Gaming.
Feels like this is the match everyone's focusing on as the premier match of the gauntlet. Feels like the winner of this is going to be the hands-down favorite to then beat TSM as well, based off what people's expectations are coming into this event. So that's the match to watch for sure, as well as the fact that it is a rematch of a match we saw just 2 weeks ago. And so what has Clutch learned and what has CLG been able to improve on as well?
I think the momentum for Clutch is going to be big. It's what got them to playoffs, that end of summer season momentum got them this far. Once again, you get to ride that gauntlet. Even Cloud9 is being like, oh, maybe we should have done the gauntlet. We would have liked it. Maybe not. But no matter what, you get the stage time, you get to warm up, and you get past those first few games of testing out your weeks off of realization and getting back in the groove.
But as we just heard, that momentum can really swing both ways, right? It can be your biggest aid or your biggest detriment if you let that momentum get out of hand, which is what the Clutch Gaming players have cited was one of the major issues in their series against Counter Logic Gaming, going up 2-0, feeling that momentum, and then when it gets pulled out from underneath them, not being able to properly react, adjust, or settle themselves down into, that kind of state of consistency that they once wanted.
It's that mental boom. It's that tilt that's so elusive, because you're thinking, oh, surely I'm not tilted. I'm 0-2, but I'm not tilted. I can tell myself that I'm not tilted, but your scores continue to get worse and worse. So
that's
it's
why I
so
felt
slippery.
I felt a little good about this series because they probably came in, like
We're gonna hard smash
We're
3-0.
gonna crush them hard game 1,
Yep.
a lost game 2, and then they actually took care of business relatively
got a little
quickly.
cleaner.
Yeah, so that makes me feel better about Clutch if we're describing them as a momentum-based team, which can still be true, but at least they showed they can handle a road bump this series.
Right, and again, they've at least had the warm-up or practice in the best of 5 against CLG to know now what CLG's capable of, to now have that respect that even if they find themselves again in a 2-0 position, match point, they're not going to give it or give those extra points back so easily to CounterLogic Gaming this time around. Either way, it speaks to having a very spicy matchup tomorrow because it's only been two whole weeks between the last time they met and meeting here again on Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think CLG is going to try to get inside Clutch Gaming's head because
yeah?
why not? That's how you won last time around, right? So maybe a little bump in the bathroom or just like ban Kiana,
No
Ruffle,
physical
ban my
altercations,
champions.
please. But,
There have been some stories.
I would love some more Twitter
I
spice.
kid you not. There's legitimate stories of teams that would just, this player's going to the bathroom by himself, just huddle
go.
together and go to the bathroom.
Everyone
and,
line up.
Yeah, just line up and talk strategy outside, kind of intimidate. Like that happens, and that actually does affect gameplay.
That's interesting. Just wax and wane on the different bans that you could throw out. Or just start naming all the champions in the game, and if you land on their random pocket pick, you make them like peek and interest. Do they know
Hey,
all of a sudden?
he kind of shivered when I mentioned Gangplank.
Yeah, this is Crumbs as a coach. Is just doing his
I mean, you
research.
hire Crumbs just to follow people around and like step
Just
in
like,
for...
did they shiver when I said that word? We got him figured out. Anyway, I think that's our signal to get off air. So now for myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the regional qualifiers. Good night.
Why is it dark?
You guys don't even know.
It's, isn't it nighttime?
It's 4 p.m.
No, it is. This weekend, 4 teams enter the gauntlet for a spot in the play-in stage in Berlin.
Right, with each win, with each play we make, it's going to get feeling better and better. And, we're on the way up now.
Viper's going to go down quite quick on this one, but the rest of FlyQuest trying to come in and deliver the damage. Cody Sun almost going down. He's the one that stays alive.
the
There's gonna be a
reset.
double kill for Turtle. Damonte. Oh, they're going to miss the ultimate.
They're going to die to
There's
minions.
the prison just missing.
I just feel inside the creeps.
Huni with barrels getting stacked up all over the place, and that's going to be Huni going down. Now the soldiers get to stand tall.
Watch our GP, yeah. We win this. We win for sure. 3 seconds. We win for sure. Kai's gonna go. I'm doing Kai's. Yeah,
Go walk through mid. Nobody really wants to be there. Huni goes down. Cody Sun's in once again. Will he have the Zanya to get himself to safety as well? WildTurtle gets popped right away. The shell is cracked. Santorin now has quite a bit of health, but the rest of the team is just falling down around him. FlyQuest again thwart the kills right away, and now they're able to add the damage. That's going to be 2 down as Lira and Vulcan fall immediately. Huni still can't pick up a kill.
Take it easy, boys, okay? Take it easy. Take it easy. We still got 2 games.
Who's going to get those buffs? Could be Huni. That's a big doll right now, but now he's in the pile of 3 FlyQuest members. Trade back and forth. Huni does pick up
They're all
kills for
dead.
himself. That's one slow. Hyper's coming up here with a bit more damage from Huni. He's going to bounce over. A last auto attack coming through.
Nice job, Huni.
Featherstorm goes down, raids on Lira's parade, but he's still going to get yanked back. Will the Thunder clap down? And it does. There's the Gnar ultimate from Huni. They're going to clean up the rest of their food and get the dessert of game number 4. We got to fight towards the bot side. There's a Gnar ultimate, and they are just able to crush down Pobelter. That almost like a straight replay from the kill before. We go right back into it. Lira, huge damage as he comes in. Proto Belt down. Here comes FlyQuest from the side, swooping in to take down the members of Clutch Gaming, and they fall 1 by 1. Turtle comes up with a kill right there, but it looks like Damonte is able to actually attack back. Clutch Gaming in 4 games is going to look to find their first regional qualifier victory, and they're going to be doing it against FlyQuest and go on to face CounterLogic Gaming.